month I was privileged to be able to attend the Oklahoma Local Agriculture Collaborative Roots to Success Farm Tour. This is for innovative farms in the state of Oklahoma, and there were 2 farms that I toured today. The first one is the Cotton's Country Market and Farm, which is located in Wagoner, Oklahoma. And the second farm is Peace of the Prairie, which is located in Muskogee, Oklahoma. This video is going to take you on a tour of both of the farms and give you a little bit of insight into what Oklahoma Local Agriculture Collaborative, or OLAC, does to help the community.
And so when Ms. Cotton started this venture with Langston University, I was still just a community-based organization. And during that time, I was a partner with Langston. And so when Ms. Cotton started this project, it was a lot different. The rows went this way, about 100 foot long. And it was an adventure. We taught a class. It was called market gardening class. And so what we did, we came once a month to classes from October to April, and we learned how to garden and how to sell it at the market. Well, around that same time, that's when COVID hit. Okay, and so I don't know how many of you guys know about KCDS, the Cotton's community-based organization, but they started doing food distribution boxes at their church. And so they did not have all the capacity in order to care for the garden. And so during that time, they needed a champion to come care for the garden. So that was me. And the champion turned into the full-time garden caretaker and seller. So at that time, I also ran the Wagoner Farmers Market. And so we had a market on Sundays, so I would come pick on Sunday and then take it straight to the market. So I don't know how many of you guys have picked okra throughout your life, but in the summer on a hot day, it makes you itch. And when I say it makes you itch, that is an understatement, right? And I did not know. So I don't come by way of agriculture, I came by way of human development. So my degree is focused on humans, right? Everybody has the right to eat. And so that's what started my project, making sure that Wagoner had a farmer's market, so that way everybody had access. Wagoner only has a Walmart, and at that time there was not a market manager. So it was either where do these vendors go to sell something, or they're gonna lose all this product. Again, it was COVID, so there were lots of rules. People were very scared, and Wagoner had lots of great opportunities. So the Cottons, they applied for programming during that time to make sure that the garden could continue going. We had classes, so once a month people would come out here and help us. And when I say help us, it was a godsend. Without them, it really would not have continued to happen. So since 2018, the Cottons have remained a partner with Langston University. They just became our first demonstration site. So now they have a long-term contract with Langston University. There will be students coming here. I'm an extension educator specialist for this side of the state. And so we'll have classes here. We'll have canning classes. We've taught quite a few already. Value-added products will be sold in their store. And so just a continued path of betterment of how this garden can feed more people. So one thing the Cottons have done, they're accepting SNAP now. They make sure that they work with food prescriptions. A lot of great partnerships are what keep this garden going. Now they have Agriculture in Action, which is an additional component where they're teaching people hands-on training. You can't really learn gardening from reading a book, and you certainly can't learn it just on TV. As I said, I'd never gardened before, and if it wasn't for the Cottons experience, I probably would not still be in agriculture, right? Because it's not always easy, and it's certainly not always fun. And there's always something to learn. Like, you never stop learning. And so the partnership with Langston, I think, is going to be a great opportunity. Hopefully we'll have more and more of these sessions out here. And so if you guys have any questions about building partnerships or becoming a community-based organization with Langston or Agriculture in Action, just let us know and we'll get you in contact with the right people.
And it's not like what you buy in stores. There's definitely a difference in the taste and the quality of the produce. And so now we're, generations up. My son is 12, my youngest is 9. There's 12 grandkids around us, and this is something that they love. They love coming out here and putting in hours in the garden, giving them a job, giving them the same appreciation, the same work ethic. Nowadays people go to stores and they just pick what they want and move around. But for them to see, like, this is the work that's put into the things that you're eating and buying every day, you may just take for granted. So here is some things that have come from the garden. My mom's jalapeno jam, which I want you all to try. It is delicious. She takes what she grows, and sometimes she may have an abundance of a certain product. Looks for all different types of recipes and comes out with something delicious. And it ends up being like the favorite. This and her salted cantaloupe jam, that came out of we have too many cantaloupes and they're going to go to waste, and we have to figure out, kind of like banana bread, you know what I mean? We have to figure out how to use it before it goes bad. And it ended up being something that I absolutely love, my kids love. It's great for basting, and I put it on charcuterie boards that I started making. I started using her jams for that, and it ended up being a big hit. Her tomatoes and her basil, that's fresh out the garden, but I want you all to try it. If you want a cup of coffee, you're more than welcome to partake there. But having the store is creating, I want to say, a stake in our next generations. So they're all excited. When they broke ground and started building, my children, my nieces and nephews are asking for jobs. They're like, I can take ownership of what's happening. And so often we see that when we have something local, the generations kind of die off. They get up and they move away, and they don't have a stake in the ground. And this was Papa's hobby, or this was, Mama's hobby. But for them to put hours in that garden, they clock hours. They come in, they write their time down. And when they leave, they know they have money coming. But to see this come up, it's giving them hope for a future, maybe even ideas on how they can spin it and take ownership of. My niece makes jewelry, so this is part of her business. Everybody is starting to kind of jump in and put their take on things. And of course, we have our t-shirts and our own things up and coming. And then, like I said, my mother's produce, the things that she cans I've watched her can 50 to 70 jars of pickles and relish in a day or two. And to be passionate about it and love it and give my nieces and my children something to do, something that they can feel good about and know that they're helping others and feeding others and making a product. So we also have locally grown eggs, and we're going to begin to partner with other farmers and vendors around this area. You guys, farmers markets are amazing. That's a great way to get out there. But like my dad said earlier, to be able to have a place that you can just come and sell and not have to take down.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, pop up and take down and pop up to take down. To have a place that you can partner with local farmers and local vendors and know that your products, your produce, it's there. And you don't have to wait for the season, you can just keep it coming, right? And then to be innovative in how you market, be innovative in your recipes, be innovative in how you push and partner with those around you. Does anyone have any questions about this area right here so far? Awesome. No, it's awesome. I think so. I think so as well. I'm gonna give you a peek at the other side. I know it's not complete, so just have a view. That as well. That as well. And that would be very helpful if you guys know any local farmers that are looking to offload some of their produce or maybe have an abundance. Like I said, the salty cantaloupe jam came out of an abundance of cantaloupe. So some people have an overabundance of one crop, and to not have it go to waste is really helpful. Like that's always, I remember growing up, it was always painful to take a loss like that, to lose so many tomatoes or so many watermelons because we couldn't sell them fast enough before they got soft or spoiled. But having a local business, it creates generation for our local economy. Okay, there's not any resources out here but Dollar General. You have to go to town to just get to, like I said, some eggs or some fresh produce. But to be able to have something that's right here and you can partner with, I said the 3 mile radius that's around you. My dad made a point to say that this road was just put in a couple of years ago and it's generated increase of traffic in this area. So for people who are working in town to be able to stop in and grab something, it's been helpful.
Yeah, this road, it goes to the Sofferdale paper plant. And so you get a lot of traffic. Then we get a lot of traffic to the lake. And so, that's a good time to stop and get tomatoes for the cookout or whatever. That's all good stuff. My neighbor just down the road, he's got a bunch of chickens. When they were little, we had the chickens, the hogs, everything here. But since they tried to grow up,
Didn't get too far.
So a lot we just stopped doing it. But now you see the need to bring and incorporate some of that back because of the grandchildren. So my neighbor, he's got lots of chickens and he sells the fresh eggs. So that's a plus for us. And then Janet, and their gardens and their connections, and we all went to school together. That lady right there in the blue. We all grew up together in Inola. So as this grows, it'll just be what we would like it to be, a community type facility for people to come and advertise and put their products in. And I'm not gonna.
Will you share this space or just because I know you're gonna have a full wash station or there's only gonna be your produce?
I would like it more to be our produce or their produce brought, and we prep it according to the selling, specs. Because it has to go off the shelf according to people like you. It's gotta be right. So we want it like that. We want quality stuff and keep it going, keep it flowing. Because yes, ma'am.
Well, I was wondering if you have to have any kind of license to do this or any kind of.
They're going to be applying for the Good Agricultural Practices through a group gap. It's actually something new for Oklahoma. Other states have done it, but where if you got a gap by yourself, which we do have several farmers in Oklahoma, you pay $3,000 to $5,000 to have an auditor come look at your farm and then you have to pay for USDA people to come out and assess your farm. There's a program called Group Gap, which we're going to have a session over later this afternoon in the Beyond the Market group session, where a bunch of farmers can come together and share a gap. And so so how it works is we pay an auditor to be the Oklahoma auditor, and then they will audit, like say we get 16 farmers together. They audit all 16 farms, so the internal person that lives here doesn't, you don't have to pay them a bunch of money. And then making sure everybody's up to code and stuff. But then the USDA will only actually audit the square root of the total number. So that means if we have 16 farmers, only 4 people actually get USDA audited, which then makes it a relief on some more farmers. But you still have the same certification as the single farmer who pays the full $5,000. But yet you're splitting the $5,000 among 16 people. And we actually have some funding that might actually cover part of that $5,000. So it'd be more like maybe like $100 per farm. So it's really exciting. It's called Fruit Gap. If you have more than you can sell direct to consumer, you know, it's a good opportunity. But it is important to know when you're looking at GAP certification, you will be able to sell a lot more wholesale, which means prices can't be at the complete direct to consumer price. You need to cut a little bit. But we are seeing a lot of our world understand prices better. And so we have a little more respect for local food. But there's still a difference in direct to consumer price versus, which we will have a session over this that goes real deep.
But it's not, the baby's not designed to stay little. We're supposed to expand. The first year, Langston, there was nothing. The second year, we got a hoop house, an old hoop house, older than this. The winds came in Oklahoma and they blew, and it went over into the pond. And then 18 months later, we got another hoop house, this one. And so this is my first time actually growing in this hoop house. It's an old one. It's not as functional as I would like it to be, but it was free. Got it? So this is the thing. When you're learning, you just learn. Everything is an education. Everything is a possibility. Everything is an opportunity. But we're getting a 96-foot one that's going to go right there. And we're getting a 56 one that will go on the other side of our cucumber patch. Then we bought 10 acres across from our church. And we're going to have 2 hoop houses over there. Why? Because we have a food distribution program. Another thing, we were giving away all of this food, you know, and it was same people coming, and it was obvious we needed to teach people how to do more than pick up food, right? They need to, and they need better food. I'm concerned not just about what's on their table, but about their health. So, I get to start preaching in the Lord. Yeah, that's what I felt. I felt amen in me. Yeah, they were just, yeah. So I made a determination to stop just going through the motion and to really get down to the science of things. I started taking classes myself. I started bringing in people that I knew what I didn't know could give real education and not just sharing stories. I've been certified now in 3 different areas, and I'm about to get 2 more. And it's because I really want to know what I am talking about. The 3rd year, 2nd, 3rd year, 4th year, Langston brought the hoop house. They brought workers. They put in the plasticulture. They brought in the sweet potato plants. They brought the slips for the cantaloupes and the watermelons. But after that 3rd year, hasta la vista, baby. No more workers. We still got the plastic, but it made me get out. I had to stretch. If this is going to be in my community, then I need to connect with farmers in my community. I need to find out who's growing what and why, and in what quantities. So it caused me to step outside of the box to learn to do things differently. When I put this in last year, I didn't know. I had these beautiful containers and everything, and I filled every one to the brim with soil. Well, you know what happened. I couldn't move a thing. I had no options. I took them away because I didn't know. But I had purchased hemp mulch, which I had mixed in with my dirt. Oh my goodness. That stuff grew the stuff. I just couldn't move it once it got settled. So this year, as I started switching things around, all these 3 rows, I took all that hemp mulch, compost, dirt, rich, beautiful soil, and I dumped it down here, 3 rows. And then on top of that, I put cardboard. And then on top of that, I put some more dirt. And then I put the straw on top of that. So next year, when we change this out, this is coming up, and I'll have a row here, I'll have a row here, and I'll have a row here, and it's going to be working this whole time. I learned something. When we put these in, I've got cardboard at the bottom, I've got grass clippings, and then I've got other things on top of that, and then I got a cover on top of that, then I got some compost on top of that, all before we get to where we planted, okay? So in here, I keep mostly peppers, herbs, and down the middle, I kind of experiment. So I got some kale, got some onions, got some broccoli and stuff. So don't cut out of here. If you got a basket, did y'all get a basket? Have y'all already been over there?
Yes.
Okay. You can cut whatever you want to. I just want to give you a quick lesson in one thing. Let's go this way. And I'm not an expert, okay? So if you hear something that I say, correct me or enlighten me, okay? Basil can grow a long time. It really, really can. Most people, when they get these flowers, they just pull off the flower. When they're young and tender, that really works for producing stuff. But when they start getting 2 feet high and 3 feet high, I internship at a place and they had basil like this, and it was just, leaves were this long, and I had to have a good conversation with the owner. And I said, what store do you go in and buy basil leaves this big? Right. You're wasting money and time. But to keep it going in your gardens, because what will happen, these will stop getting tender and they'll start getting hard down here, getting thicker down here. So when you have a flower that shows up, go down to the base of what that main limb is.
Boy, I need to know this. This is very relevant.
Where the main limb is, and you're going to count 3 up. 3 sections up. 1, 2, let me see here. 1, 2, 3. So this one sparked off in another side. But where the 3 is, right on top of right in the middle of that Y is where I'm going to cut. So ultimately, like on either side of the Y, you still have branches. Those branches will start again, and they'll keep going. This is delicious.
Yes.
If you decide to do that to these, and you know you're not going to keep that basil, give it to me. I dehydrate my spices. I make my own things, okay? My own little concoctions. On this spearmint, which is just fantastic, I'm making teas for the first time. My herbs, and I found it out in the garden. I plant in different places to see the variety, to see what really, really works and what they respond to. But my herbs, I tend to go around the perimeter of them, and I harvest from the perimeter rather than just harvesting from the top. I really do want it to get some height, and I want my leaves to get a little bit bigger on the spearmint, so I harvest from the perimeter. Feel free to do that. And I found that my oregano bushes out more. Just it kind of thrives when I'm getting it from the perimeter and underneath. I would ask that you can cut anything that you want, except for this one right here. I have some workers, when you have workers and you ask them to label everything, they don't label everything. I don't know what kind of peppers these are. I really don't, but I want to see what they do. I want to see I just want to see. And I'll look it up to find out. But right now it's just pretty to me, so I'm just going to leave it alone. All that okra up there, and I still... Question?
Well, I have a question about the basil. How long are you going to let this plant live? Is it going to be next year also?
I'm going to let it live as long as it can because I'm trying to find out how long it can.
Okay.
Yeah. So like last year, Langston, again, working with partners, when you have to depend on people, then you have to depend on people. They were supposed to come back in October and put the plastic over, and they didn't. So I didn't get to grow through the winter last year. So I thought one of their other representatives was going to be here today so that we could have that conversation about getting those people out to get the plastic out. Because if you don't start early, you miss it. So, and if they don't, we'll seek another contractor. I just have to make it work this time. But I plant in different places so that if I lose it over there, I can have a chance over here. I do that same with my squash plants. You know, the demonic squash bugs really do take over. So I sacrifice plants. Take it. I'm going to get you over here. You know, then I'm going to wait 3 weeks and start all over again. I am going to be the champion, you know. And I talk to them. Think it funny or whatever. But the seed has a command in it.
That is
and
right.
When it's not growing, I say to it, listen, you got a command to grow. And I command you to do what it is that you're supposed to do. And then I ask God for wisdom. Show me what's preventing it. Because there are things that will stop the growth. And once I learn, there was a worm over here. That sucker was that thick and this long. And I stood and I washed it. I did this just 2 days ago. I just watched it. It was so pretty. First time I saw it, it was green. Now it's purple, right? And almost slug-like, but I mean big worm, big one. And so I watched about 3 minutes. I just watched it and I talked to it and I watched how, you know, all of that. Then I went and got my little hand hoe, you know, and I went back and I said, baby, you are an enemy. You know, you look good, nice to observe, but you don't work for me. So I killed it out. A thing about the workers, you have to be careful about how much you attempt to do, because it can be too much. When workers come, even when you pay them, we very seldom have volunteer days. We pay who the people come out because the workman is worthy of.
Amen.
But I have 11 grandchildren, well 12 now, but there are times when I make them come. You don't have a choice. You're gonna learn how to serve. Because service is seed. And seed is sowing, so then that way you get back and you have to learn that principle, that you don't get paid for everything. But when I need work for the sake of the business of it, then I'm going to pay you, okay? Them grandkids went back to school loaded, right? Okay? And for the first time, one of my grandchildren enrolled in ag. Wow. Score. My husband is the 7th of 10 children, and he's the only one doing this. So the fact that we have one going in that direction, I'm feeling good about it.